Hi everyone, today I'm going to talk about the film The Spring River Flows East, which is a Chinese film produced in 1947. It's a really long film, it lasts over 3 hours, but it's very interesting. It starts in 1931 when China is having serious political problems, war, and lots of trouble in some regions of the country. Then a guy who works in a factory, he makes a speech to raise funds to the defense of China and that they shouldn't be subject to any foreign army. And then we can see that there was a crush between this guy and a woman who worked in the factory. And they eventually got married and had a baby right away. However, the political problems and war, which was in the case of Japanese invasion, it got much worse. And then this guy, he volunteered to work with the Red Cross to fight for the sovereignty and independence of China. However, they were in Shanghai, and apparently the city of Shanghai was in lots of turmoil. His wife and his baby, they had to live with his mother to the countryside, to live with the guy's father and younger brother, who also fought in the resistance. And then both sons of the family joined the resistance, and it stayed behind his elderly parents and the wife of one of the sons with the baby. And lots of bad things happened. They suffered all kinds of hardships, extreme poverty and hunger. They ended up in a refugee camp. They were subject to lots of humiliations. The father of this guy, he was hanged by the invaders. So it was something extremely cruel and sad. On the other hand, both sons fighting for the resistance, they were suffering a lot. However, the guy who was married to this woman, father of the little baby, he got to make contact with a woman he knew by sight from his older days before the war. He suffered a lot too. He was almost killed in the war. He couldn't find a job anywhere. He had nothing to eat, nowhere to live. And he contacted this woman who had given her address before and begged her for some help. Then she got a job for him. He was in the guest room of the family. It was a woman of a rich family. And they both ended up getting married. And this guy, he married up. He married a very rich woman. On the other hand, while his family was suffering all kinds of trouble and humiliations, poverty and horrible things, his other brother, he was still fighting for the resistance. He fought for the resistance all the time. He married his childhood sweetheart, who was in the resistance too. They were in the mountains fighting. Meanwhile, this guy who was married to the woman, father of the little baby, he married this rich woman. But then he became a completely different person. He used to be a devoted husband. He didn't drink. He wasn't involved in parties or anything. He was a hard-working man. He started to attend lavish parties. He started to become extremely frivolous. His morals were compromised. He started to drink a lot, something he never did with his first family. And he even became a womanizer, cheating on his wife. he really became different. Meanwhile, his younger brother, who had married his old childhood sweetheart, he wrote regularly to his parents. They got to have a piece of land in another city of China. He really wanted to reunite with his parents, and he thought about his family all the time. And this other brother, he completely forgot about his family. He thought that everyone was dead. And instead of looking for his mother, looking for his family, he ignored the existence of everyone. However, his wife, his first wife of his younger days, after almost 10 years of all sorts of hardship and poverty, she was forced to work as a maid. And unfortunately, she was the maid in the house where her husband was the boss. And then when she saw that her boss was there, she fainted. It was a huge scandal. She told everyone that that guy who was married to the rich woman was actually her husband first. So the guy was actually a bigamist, and there was lots of confusion. And his wife, his rich wife, she showed her true colors. She didn't really care about the hardships of that family, that he left his family behind, never did anything for them. She only thought about her own marriage hardships, but didn't think about the family who suffered so much. She didn't realize that her husband had left behind even his own parents and child. And then the wife was desperate, cried a lot. And when she arrived back home, she told her mother-in-law, who she considered a mother, that her son got married again and forgot about everyone. His mother, of course, wanted to confront her son. She said she was very ashamed of him. How could he do that with his family? And his rich wife was throwing temper tantrums, and she really insulted his first wife. She didn't think about her hardships, not even for a second. And then his first wife left the mansion where her husband was living. She ran away. Her little son ran away after his mother, and then she told her son that if he could buy something to eat, to give to his grandmother. And while her little son was away, she jumped in the river and took her own life because she couldn't handle the sorrow. And this is how the film ended. The virtuous woman who took care of her in-laws as if they were her parents, who was such a wonderful mother to her baby, who never ever thought of having another man. She was faithful all along. She fought hard to work and support the family. She had this huge disappointment, and it was too much to her. And then it was her mother-in-law, the grandmother of the baby, who was 9 years old at the end of the film, who had the mission of raising the kid. It's not clear if the father would take on his paternal role or not. And although there is a background in this film of history, war, hardship, and all that, the plot is really universal in the sense that it talks about poverty, about family ties, about decency, about morals, about poverty versus wealthy. And it's really, really good. It's a long film. You can watch it making pauses. It was a very successful film back to its own era. And it's a wonderful time machine. It's a wonderful history class, and I strongly recommend you to watch that. That's all for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. See you!